Hello, good morning, Gary Champion's psychic medium. It's getting warm enough to have a fan on. I was sitting around this morning and I heard the word Dadaism. And I haven't heard that since I was in high school. I wasn't quite sure what it was. Now, it doesn't have anything to do with having a Dada. Dadaism. So I looked it up, and it was mentioned in high school. It's an art movement. I don't know, 19 whatever, 1912, 1902, 1921 or something. It was an art movement in Europe, and uh, it was it was based on art that was nonsensical and absurd. Nonsensical absurdity. Things were made out of toilets. Um, Nonsensical absurdity in the realm of art. And I wondered when I was hearing this, well, we've got all that going on now. We have the Do Nothing Party, which people tend to forget. I'm going to say the Republican Party's a Dada. Sounds like a dirty word, doesn't it? Almost. Global warming. Dada. Virus isn't real, don't get the shot. Dada. You'll be alright. You'll be fine. I got the shot, but you don't need the shot. It's disrupting my crap. Abortion is legal, you idiots. Dada. Change the law. Don't say it doesn't exist. There's no law. Act like there isn't one when everybody voted on it. I was there for that one. Abortion is legal. Dada. Ooh, racism doesn't exist. Dada. And I'm thinking that maybe Mr. Putin is a member of the Dada Party. He said yesterday he's all upset because people in Europe are now upset that he's assassinating people. He used to get away with it all the time. Send his little agents, and his agents are so easy to spot now, they don't even, it's not like they're walking around carrying a big dagger, but geez, you know why they're in the country. They're there to assassinate someone. You see them in England, you know they're going to kill one of their people that went to England to get away because they knew they were going to get killed. Polonium, I'm not even sure what polonium is. It's nuclear stuff. It's radiation, kills you from the inside, just destroys your organs. That's his favorite. He gives that to people. I'm not assassinating anybody. Dada. See how that sort of fits? Global warming isn't real. Dada. Virus isn't real. Whew, I can't see it. Must not be real. And why? And the people who are claiming that usually end up with it and in the hospital, and then they say, "Ooh, this virus is real." So I guess you have to have it to understand that it's real. I had a dream last night. Oh, for those of you who are getting tired of my rambling, you can go to the refrigerator or turn on television or something. This is the Rambling Man channel. Gary the Rambling Man channel. I got so much time I don't even bother to shave. I had a dream last night about coincidences, and they just kept going on with it, talking about it, describing it. And people are always saying what a coincidence that is. And if you're in the metaphysical field, if you work in it, you know there are hardly any coincidences. There just aren't any. It's hard to describe that. I mean, exactly, but I realize that when I see something that shouldn't be there, that it's not a coincidence. It's there for a reason. It's something I'm supposed to do. And I give you a good example. A guy wants to, this is just made up. This guy wants to go to a flea market, and he gets somebody to take over for what he does, where he can go to a flea market. He's not sure why, but he just wants to go. The other friend, he's okay with taking whatever it is. He says, sure, if you think it's worthwhile, I'll be glad to take your place. I'll go to work for you and do your job. And whatever this is, whatever you're feeling or thinking, I'm okay with that. Because most people, if you live long enough, you see coincidences everywhere that aren't coincidences. It's just a name for something that isn't real. Since there aren't any coincidences, very few in the world. So the guy goes to work for him, saying, check back with me when you get back, and blah blah blah. So he goes to the flea market. He picks up some little thing that will finish off a project he's been working on. He just kind of had a feeling it was there. Now, guys, we've all done that. We go someplace looking for something, and there it is. It's right out in the open and right there. Usually the first thing you see. So he picks it up, he takes it back home, he finishes his project, and this is a man that doesn't make a lot of money. He's working in a factory. He's drilling holes. And he assembles this thing, he sells it. Now he can afford to buy that really expensive equipment that his son needs. He's a ball player. He doesn't have a good glove. He doesn't have any cleats that are good. Doesn't have anything. So he buys him this outfit. He goes on to be a big leaguer and is highly successful. All he needed was the right tools. And a lot of times with us, it's the right tools. My wife can't cook unless she has the right tools. She can't, whatever she's doing, she can't do it without the right tools. I can't do what I'm doing without the right tools. And that's a weird story this week with all the interesting tools I've tried to do something that all ended up nowhere. Anyway, the law of unintended consequences. I don't know if that's a law or not. Should be. Where you're doing one thing and you're doing a neighbor a good deed by digging up a plant she doesn't want in the yard, and you hit a bunch of gold. You drive all the way across the country and get to Arkansas. You get out of your car and you go into a mall, and that mall has been there since the mid-60s, something like that. And it's gotten larger and larger and larger and larger and larger. Now it's this huge complex. But you haven't seen it since the 60s. So you remember this small little mall. You stop your car, you go in there, you don't know why. You just feel like you need to go in there. And you're walking through the mall, admiring whatever pretzels or perfume or whatever, you're admiring things. And you come across a short little guy with a beard. He says, "Oh my goodness, what are you doing here?" And you say, "I don't know. I was just going across the country and I pulled in to Arkansas and went to this old place I used to shop at. And here you are." Just, oh my gosh, what a coincidence. I don't think so. I did was at a coffee house. When I was in college, I had a coffee house where the school gave me a free building and I rented some equipment using my school money, which I had earned doing whatever, and set up microphones and uh, just went around inviting people to play at it. Just I knew some people and said, "Come play. We getting paid?" I said, "No. Well, I'll just show up. I won't bring my band, but I'll just show up, play a couple of tunes." And there was a whole lineup of people, hours of people that showed up and played. What a marvelous thing it was, and he was one of those guys. I can't remember his name now. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't seen him since maybe 30 years ago when I saw him in this mall. So the guy that drove across the country and went to the mall, that's me. And he stood up to the microphone, little bitty guy, little bearded guy, sang some great stuff. Was very effective, got a lot of applause, and I never saw him again. We sort of hit it off. I liked his silliness in the songs that he chose, and I could tell you some, but they wouldn't mean anything, just silly songs. And he liked humorous songs. I've seen him for 30 years. I was just driving across the country, pulled in. I'll just go by there. There he was. Coincidence? I don't think so. Because I only saw him once in college. He must have needed me for something. We had a long talk about a lot of different things. I'm sure I gave him a reading, which is why I was there. And haven't seen him since. Maybe he's watching this. He was younger than me by a few years. I was the old guy in the school. I was coming back for summer school for more hours. So I was the old guy in the dorm. Most people don't go back to college. I did. And made his acquaintance and a bunch of other musicians, put on a coffee house. 30 years later, I'm in the mall in Arkansas that I haven't been in since 60s. And there he was, standing on a corner, looking at pipe tobacco. That's when people sold pipe tobacco in malls. They don't anymore. I could name you the store because they just told me the name of the store, and I do remember that. That's another thing. It's not possible for me to remember a store from 30 years ago. I barely remember this guy. We are sometimes drawn to places that we're needed. And it has to do with spirituality. That by doing something for someone, you grow spiritually. If you need a reason to do it, it's not spiritual. If someone says, "Could you come by and watch my baby? I've got to duck out and buy a lottery ticket." And the neighbor comes over, 15 minutes later, she comes back, she wins $1 million. If you hadn't been there, she wouldn't have done that. Perhaps she goes into the store to buy it and she meets a guy in line that turns out to be someone she marries, met in a line to buy a lottery ticket. If you start looking for reasons that it's not real, they're easy to find. You can just say it didn't happen that way. It goes away. But the smart bet would be to look at it as though there was a reason for it. I recognize these things immediately when I'm in a barbecue place and I see something or somebody sits opposite me and I have to say something, and it ends up that it's something important that they needed that day. That had I not gone out to eat there, he wouldn't have gotten his message and he wouldn't have had a better day. So I'm always in that weird position of expecting the unexpected. When you expect the unexpected, that means you embrace the unknown. When you embrace the unknown, anything is possible. Because everything happens in that realm. We don't think of it, Oh, it's a coincidence. That's in the metaphysical realm. It's not a coincidence. You were drawn there. You had to be there for some reason. And if you hadn't been there, something else wouldn't have worked out. Happens to me all the time because I embrace the unknown. Embracing the unknown is what we need to do, not cancel it or dismiss it. Being dismissive of the unseen world is a bad idea because you miss about half of what there is. We're just seeing this. Ooh, got an ink pen. Yeah, it's the same ink pen I use in all my little bits. But what's behind that ink pen? I know that if I hold it just right, then a spirit will come along, put their hand on my hand, and I can automatically write. So the ink pen is visible. Automatic writing is in the realm of the unknown. Everything is unknown until it's known. Embrace the unknown. Dadaism is back from the 1920s. Someone's saying very loudly, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Somebody walks up and hands you something. Think about it. No fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.